we got Lord Brary, and he focuses more on AI with his videos, so it looks a lot better. But it's a shorter version, but it's Discovering Mephistopheles, Hell's Greatest Wizard. Take your time, but he is the greatest wizard in the Nine Hells. Not really. That's actually Asmodeus, who's the ruler of the Nine Hells, because he's a literal god. But he's one of the archdevils of Hell, who rules the eighth plane of the Nine Hells. I forget what it's called, but more specifically, this is a video that just focuses on him. See what it gives us.
I am the...
And this guy in the picture, that is not Mephistopheles. It isn't. That's not him. The real Mephistopheles has crazy amount of horns, a bunch of wings, and is literally on fire from the back. And the dude's got several tails, and he's huge. This is a standard Cambion holding a trident. Now, maybe in a lore book somewhere, this was a picture of Mephistopheles, but in every other canon I've seen him, he is crazy designed.
The power that negates.
Because he was the first archdevil that Asmodeus made into an archdevil.
Rightly so, for all souls that come to be deserve to perish wretchedly. 'Twere better nothing would begin in that pathetic world. Thus everything, mortals' terms, their sins, destructions, and evil will bow before me, and I will be its representation. For that is my proper form, and through that desire my future hell will conform. They will name their terms, and I'll name my price. In the infernal annals of Beta, there are few events so daring, so cataclysmic, and so utterly doomed as the reckoning of hell. It was an act of treachery and ambition, unlike any before or since. A failed uprising that reshaped the hierarchy of the Nine Hells, and left scars upon the very layers of its creation. Known in ancient tomes in...
Those scars laid on its creation were the result of the serpent Ahriman falling after the creation of the multiverse. And when he fell through all 9 layers of Bator. As a result, he was severely injured. His blood that leaked from his wounds created the first pit fiends, which is the highest class of devil you can obtain normally without being giving greater power by Asmodeus to become an archdevil. Pit fiends are literally the peak. So if you're a soul who ends up at the Nine Hells and you work your way through the ranks from Lemire to each level that a devil is, you will become a pit fiend if you get to that point. Pit fiends are the commanders and the ones who run the demonic armies and of devils in the Nine Hells.
Candlekeep as the Reckoning, or more formally the Reckoning of Hell. This rebellion was a declaration of war against the Lord of Nessus himself. Asmodeus, the undisputed ruler of the Nine Hells. The architects of the rebellion were some of the most cunning minds in existence. Chief among them was Mephistopheles, the archdevil of Cania, whose ambition burned hotter than his realm's eternal frost. He was a devil of paradox.
Okay, so he's in Nessus.
A lord of cold and flame, a schemer whose arrogance matched his intellect. Tired of Asmodeus's shadow falling across his every plot, Mephistopheles sought to bring about the end of the Lord of the Ninth through careful and strategic betrayals. Thus began his pilgrimage across the layers of hell, one that would bind 4 archdevils into an alliance of fire and frost, steel and coin. Mephistopheles' first destination.
To be clear, Asmodeus didn't punish Mephistopheles for this. He, in fact, enjoyed it. Because as cunning and clever as Asmodeus is, he needed some kind of entertainment. Mephistopheles gives that to him. He enjoys playing these games with him. Because to Asmodeus is just a game.
Was Minauros, the third layer of Baator, a land drowned in endless mire and sinking corruption. It was here that Mammon ruled, his serpentine body coiled within his palace of rotting opulence. Mammon, lord of greed, was a creature who measured all things, allegiance, betrayal, even damnation itself, by the weight of gold and the promise of a future gain. Mephistopheles found him atop a throne of rusted crowns and shattered jewels, muttering to himself about debts long paid and profits never rendered. The pact offered to Mammon was simple: support in overthrowing Asmodeus, and in return, unrestricted dominion over infernal trade and tribute. Mammon's answer was not immediate. He slithered through clauses, chewed on contingencies, and finally hissed his assent, not out of loyalty to Mephistopheles, but because he believed he could profit most from the collapse of the current order. The next step took Mephistopheles to Dis, the second layer of Baator, where the Iron City spread like a cancer across the scorched land. At its heart loomed the Iron Tower, home to Dispater, the Iron Duke. Dispater was a devil so cautious that even his thoughts seemed forged in lead and locked behind vault doors. It was said that to reach him, one...
Considering Mephistopheles is a frigid archivist, as his son Raphael said, that he quite literally, he likes to gather magical artifacts and just toss them away in a vault and say, hey, I've got this. Which is weird, because I would have expected Mammon to be the one who does that, but it's Mephistopheles who does.
Had to pass through 100 gates and 1,000 traps. Mephistopheles, however, brought something that even Dispater could not ignore. A threat to stability posed by Asmodeus's unchecked power. To Dispater, the reckoning was an opportunity to reshape the rigid lattice of Hell's hierarchy into something more secure. Under his careful oversight, of course. After a long debate, the Iron Duke agreed to join, but unlike Mammon, Dispater offered no promises of loyalty, only the assurance that he would act in whatever way best protected his tower and his city. Despite their alliance, there was also a degree of competition and envy between them, particularly regarding arcane knowledge and secrets. Last came Geryon, Lord of Stygia, the fifth layer of Baator, a realm of black ice, blizzards, and howling winds. It was a land that mirrored its master's brutal simplicity. Geryon was a warrior king, a beast of muscle and wrath who had little taste for politics or pretense. Where other archdevils schemed through lies and layered pacts, Geryon believed in strength, in crushing one's enemies, underfoot and hearing the ice crack beneath them. Mephistopheles came to him not with promises of riches or safeguards, but with a single vow: war. Endless wars, bloodied and glorious, fought.
Which is weird, considering that if that was the case, this dude would have been the archdevil in charge of the first layer of the Nine Hells, Avernus. So it's just weird. Welcome back. And I find it strange that a devil who desires conquest and war wouldn't want to be at the front of the blood war. But, to each their own. Every archdevil's unique.
Fought not against the mindless hordes of the abyss, but against other archdevils and the legions of Nessus itself. Geryon, though wary, was stirred. The thought of unleashing his fury across the layers, of fighting without end, without restraint, was intoxicating. Thus, the first faction of the reckoning was born: Mephistopheles, Mammon, Dispater, and Geryon. Each joined for reasons of their own.
The thing is, as much as Mephistopheles would like to overthrow Asmodeus, and to Asmodeus it's an enjoyable game to play, he can't. Asmodeus has absolute dominion over who becomes an archdevil and who doesn't. He can demote and promote as many and as often as he wants any of the archdevils. The archdevils are godlike in power, and one who sits at the top, literally living in the bottom of it, is Asmodeus. As much as these archdevils want to usurp him to say their way would be the better way, it wouldn't matter. Because they can't usurp the literal god of the Nine Hells. And that's what Asmodeus is. Even though Asmodeus is actually just a cover for his true form, Ahriman. But still, for all intents and purposes, they can plan, they can make all their little games in an attempt to usurp him, but none can. Asmodeus has made it a personal doctrine of his that any archdevil that shows any signs of rebellion, he will punish. And he instantly punishes them all. That no one succeeded. He's either demoted them, froze them in solid blocks of ice for all eternity, or removed them from the scene completely to where you never see them again. And the only one he's never severely punished is Mephistopheles. This guy has tried to usurp Asmodeus numerous times, but because he's Asmodeus's first archdevil, there's like a kind of kindred spirit there, because they both act the same. Because Mephistopheles likes being cunning, planning, and being a archivist, while Asmodeus is the same. He likes to be cunning, smart, tactful, just like them. They're similar, so similar, but they're so different in how they approach it.
Some for profit, some for control, and others for blood. But together they formed a cabal that sought to unseat the Prince of Nessus and take dominion of hell into their own devilish hands. Yet they were not the only ones stirred to ambition. Baalzebul, the fallen angel of lies and rot, caught...
Hey there everyone, if you enjoy this content, like and subscribe, and comment down below. Thanks again.